She, she's in Brussels, Allegra. I didn't know
Yes,
that.
right. Her name is Maya Silberstein.
Wonderful.
Well,
It's
welcome,
good
Nick.
seeing you, Allegra.
Good to see you too.
Great. A lot of California folks and New Jersey folks and Brussels and elsewhere. And actually, Tammy should be on soon, one of our poets, who usually zooms in from Jerusalem, but
Oh,
I think she's still in New Jersey right now. So hopefully she will be here soon. So I want to thank you. I'm Donna Bearstein, and I wanted to welcome each of you to our gathering today, both readers and listeners. We have a really lovely lineup of poets who will each read two of their poems. And before we begin, though, I just want to say a couple words about the magazine Tiferet Journal, which started in 2004. And and our mission, which was really to provide a publishing venue for people of all different faiths, even non-traditional ones, and to talk about times of maybe transcendence. Um, God's a very tricky word. God is mentioned in some of the poems and essays and stories that are in our magazine, but we are also really um, we believe in a quote that we have on the website from Ralph Waldo Emerson. Ralph Waldo Emerson, who said, "God enters through a private door into each individual." And just a little background. I wanted to tell you about what the word "tiferet" means, how I first learned it, and it's a Hebrew word that I learned I shortly after September 11th in 2001, I started going to a school called a Society of Souls, which is based here in New Jersey and run by a man named Jason Schulman. And there's a couple other people who will be reading today and who have been in the classes who have been in this school. And it's where I first learned the word Tiferet, and I just really fell in love with it. It's a Hebrew word, and it corresponds to a sphero on the Jewish tree of life. It corresponds to the heart, and sphero on the tree of life, according to Kabbalah, can be either characteristics of God or portals to God. And the school that I went to, and some of the others did too, we studied, not Kabbalah in depth, but a very nice introduction to it and ways to use the stero to offer healings to people, including the world. So anyway, that's where I first heard the word Tiferet, and it it can mean, the word itself can mean beauty or glory or splendor, and it represents a balance of justice and mercy and reconciliation of what are often thought of as opposing forces. And our world today is a hot stew of opposing forces.
yes.
And it was when I started the magazine back in 2004, but I fear it's gotten worse somehow, or
Mhm.
more vocal, and or more revealed.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I wanted to do, well, again, going back a little bit before I started Society of Souls, I grew up an only child with a Jewish dad and a Christian mom who married in 1948, and both of their families were pretty much against the marriage, but they they ended up coming around. But my parents married and were together for 68 years. They adored each other, and so I grew up kind of a half breed, um, feeling attracted to parts of both religions, and also mostly thinking, well, why don't people just get along? I mean, why does there have to be conflict here? So that was at an early age. And then when I heard this word Tiferet, reconciliation of opposing forces, I thought, oh yeah, that's what I want. I want people to get along. And there are all kinds of opposing forces, and not just religion. So so I started a magazine, and then when the pandemic came, I started offering spiritual poetry writing classes online because I found I knew of poems that had helped me through hard times. And so I put together slides with poems from anybody from Mary Oliver to Tagore to Wendell Berry to, really a gamut of poets from different religious backgrounds and from different eras. And one of the things that really always excites me is when I will share poems from poets, who live in vastly different parts of the world and in vastly different time periods, but they're saying the same truth about humanity or about spirituality or how we can live this human life. And they may be coming from it from very different backgrounds, but it's striking to me how much similarity there is in what these people of different backgrounds write about in terms of God. Um, I mentioned the quote from Emerson about God entering by a private door into each individual, so that the poets who are going to read for you today bring a smorgasbord of religious and traditional backgrounds and a smorgasbord of personal joys and challenges. And we're very open in the group. And one of the things about reconciliation of opposites is nobody has to be happy all the time. Nobody has to be sad all the time. You can write about conflicting emotions. You can write about things that are important to your heart. And the people, the groups have just congealed so beautifully, and there's so much support for each other. And what happens when people, usually I'll share a poem and then a prompt, and then people will have 10 minutes to write, to free write, and they'll do that 3 times during our hour and a half together. And it has been like, we, all of us, I think, have been surprised at the wisdom, beauty, and yes, glory that can stream from pen or keyboard during these online writing times. The poets tap into something and just create in 10 minutes these gems. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. I know I'm not exaggerating. Anyway, it's very meaningful to me, leading it and listening to the poems. And I'm grateful now. The poems, I'm always saying I want them to be spread out into the world more because they are so healing and helpful and should be heard. So, and some of the poets reading today have been or will be published in Tiferet Journal. And many of them have books of their own. And poets, if you want to put information about your books in the chat room, please do that. So I'm just really grateful to each of the poets who are here today, and the weeks, the months, the years. It's been years now since we started the poetry writing classes, and I'm really grateful for every Wednesday and Thursday afternoon. And I'm grateful to each of these poets for sharing their hearts and their words, for grappling with personal and social challenges, and for aligning themselves with the art of poetry. Last week's class, I shared a quote from Robert Frost: "Poetry is nearer to vital truth than history." In these challenging times, poetry is vital. I thank you for joining us today to celebrate it. So we will begin. Our first poet today is not here yet, Tammy, unless I'm missing her. I'm missing her. So we will move to our second poet, and go to Deborah Garish, the birthday girl, please. And if everyone who's not reading, if you can mute yourselves, please, that would be great.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Talking to God. You are the gardener, the governor, the architect. I am a blue glass roof that shatters at the slightest. A red bird storm swept in a scrap of nest. You are the magnolia, the entire poem, and I, the M dash, the unspoken heart skip, the unfinished line. My second poem is called I Fly Into Myself. Thrashing like a fan spinning off its swivel, I rush through rooms, find a bird trapped between the casement window and screen, panicked flesh desperate to escape, brown blur of feathers, frangible beak and head, breast pounding. The bobolink's slap of wide wings beating glass, flapping like a small umbrella inside the bathroom window. Much like me, finding myself in places I don't belong. Confined between a gasp and a thin breath, I move quickly, part his Red Sea, and turn the crank handle as he sprung, then flew and flew and flew, that I could see the light of his eye gleam, that startlingly beautiful eye, as I was his God, freeing the diminutive one from the hand of death. Thank you.
Thank you, Deborah. Beautiful. Thank you. And our next reader will come from Brussels. Tom Het, please.
Yeah, wonderful. Boy, that sounded kind of cool in the introduction, Donna. I'll have to remember that.
That's the reason why we do what we do.
Yeah, I will, and now we'll see if I can actually navigate switching screens as I'm doing this. But thank you, Donna, for making this happen and the entire thing happen. It's just been an honor to be part of the reading and part of these workshops over the years, and wonderful to see you all. Those of you I workshop with, and thank those of you that are listeners for being here today. So this first one came out of it was one of our workshops back in the winter time, and just tuning into some of our kind of fragile artistic friends and spirits, right? And just trying to communicate how we see each other, and there's a resonance within our artistic community that we see each other and listen to each other through time and incarnation. So this is called The Watching. I stand on wet rocks, buffet of wind, expanse of sea, the lighthouse signal, a burning orange glow, a buoy, echolocation. If you were to strand yourself nearby, I struggle to find the signal to show the rocks, the shoals, hazards that await. Born from wreckage, we could sit here on the beach warmed by a fire built from the salvage. I'd share my blanket, thrilled to see the stars in your eyes when you tell of the journey, the adventure that has brought you ashore.
One of my favorites, yours.
The second piece I have is called Amber. I am a hawk looking out the window of a castle, my stare fixated on the rat devouring my apples. The beetle boring into the trunk of the tree, the mosquito stuck slowly sinking, relic absorbed in sap. Wouldn't it be something to be exhumed, turned with inquisitive fingers, polished, accentuated with fine silver wrap, hung from a delicate neck?
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for making it work from Brussels.
Thank you.
Our next reader will be Kathleen Poncher, please.
Hi, and thank you, Donna, for that beautiful introduction. Just beautiful. First poem is called Conquering Hopelessness. The flower doesn't hope for sunlight. It basks in its splendor, spiriting towards the prismatic rays that lovingly caress and nourish its growth, drawing it upward toward the sky, its spine arching robustly towards the power of life. The flower is propelled by purpose, the purpose of spirit, infusing its soul with life's essence. I want to be propelled by purpose, purpose that caresses me with optimism, optimism that radiates through my body like the sun's rays that spirit the flower, bathing my soul in life's essence, essence that conquers hopelessness. Thank you. The next one I wrote in class. It's what I yearn for. Like a dense mist, life is filled with mysteries, secreted away inside the soul, lost to the naive, revealed to the seeker. As the whims of distraction spirit through my messy mind, I see a clearing in my path. I walk towards it.
Lovely. Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
And our next reader is Melissa Reed.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you for curating the wonderful workshops, and they're just so inspiring.
It's nice to see your face after just seeing your words in email. So
It's good to be with all of you, and thank you for also organizing this reading. It's really a pleasure to listen to poems of other Tiferet poets. And so I'll first read I Dream. As waves crest phosphorescing silver, illuminating the country of lucid dreaming, I fall above and beneath the crescendo and decrescendo of breath's blue flame, singing me out to sea. Until then, the sea had been saltwater wilderness, a terror to be met, protected by insulated diving suits and life jackets, a challenge to be traversed by kayaks or ships or desperately swimming bodies. Until then, I accepted only small risks. To swim, not Thunder Lake's diameter, but to succumb to safe circumference, to discard life jacket, to butterfly stroke just below surface, to dally among the dazzle of sunlit schools of fish, their scales prisms, lighting the green weeded water world with infinitely intersecting rainbows. The dream woke me to my blindness. Me, the Scotty dog, lost alone, paddling vast metallic waters beneath the vaster gray sky, asking only, where's the dock? Oblivious to water's aliveness and illness, I had not seen this being. I had sought the goal, not the big dream. Lucid now, I am one with the dreaming ocean, awakened swimmer, her keenly inquisitive nature celebrating our new silver kinship, flourishing in waves of grace until into all water I morph again. And then I'd like to read, Be unto love as rain is unto color. For if you were all water, and you mostly are, alpine pure, gentle as dandelion seeds, strong as hummingbird inspections, their beaks pointing at your third eye, mistaking you a moment for your face for a sunflower. I'm sorry, I messed up the whole.
and start
I'm
over.
gonna start again, sorry.
Okay.
Be unto love as rain is unto color. For if you were all water, and you mostly are, alpine pure, gentle as dandelion seeds, strong as hummingbird inspections, their beaks pointing at your third eye, mistaking for a moment your face for a sunflower, you would remember as well as any elephant every electromagnetic spectrum communication you've ever overheard. You would remember what a deep freeze you made of Walden Pond during Underground Railroad winter days, your depth of ice thoroughly measured by Thoreau, and you would remember those light waves of joy from liberated feet crossing over you, spreading their exhilarating breaths of bliss. And if you were one of the liberated, you would know it was your time to bloom. Feel the surging life force unfurl your never before goldenly proportioned spiral of amaryllis petals, the truth of the one and only you, born to spread diversity, creating real unity spoken by your petals in their various dark velvet appearances, similar to, yet not the same as others wearing night's equity in today. And that yellow spark of light in your eyes, scattering seeds, planting trees, that yellow spark of light would be pollen radiating the dust of your new star. Thank you.
Our next reader is Ruth Kirschner.
Thank you, Donna, for this reading and for bringing us together and bringing us forward. I'm so grateful. Okay, first poem. The prompt was "For the Love of," and this poem is dedicated to my older sister. For the love of my sister, I never drew pictures of flowers, people, cats, trees, bananas, or birds, because she loved drawing, and our piano teacher said her lessons were a waste of money. For the love of my sister, I begged her to do cartwheels, something she was expert at. I applauded, asked for more. For the love of my sister, I wore a hat to hide the red hair that sparked terrible attention out on the street where brown hair was invisible to strangers with bad boundaries who touched my head and made sounds of amazement. And for my sister's love, I never spoke up when she said it was me who wet the bed. We needed each other for adventures in feeling, in a house where self-expression ranged from A to B. Love and worship, hatred, envy, safety, hilarity, wonder, and dismissal. We practiced being human every day, day after day, in our private universe others call home.
Right.
And now, this is a poem called The Morning After. White, audacious cumulus clouds laugh back at the sky from the puddles the storm left. Photo-worthy, I snap them up, one after another, a file full that later, years later, keeps laughing when anyone says, I don't understand what your subject is here. What is it saying? What were you looking at? What were you going for? What's it about? More laughs from the puddles. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Wonderful. Our next reader will be Susan Jackson, please.
Thank you, Donna, and thank you all. It's really an honor to be here with so many poets, and we have such a bond over time. I'm very, very grateful. The first poem that I'll read is called "The Children Are Asking." The children are looking to us. The children are asking, will it be all right? And we don't know what to tell them. We who should know the answers, who thought we knew the answers to give, find it hard to recognize our world. Continually, years follow one after the other with their goodness and their cruelty. Continually, we do this dance between the possible and the impossible. The children are asking tonight, and what I have to give them is the brief blinking light of fireflies, the memory of a spring storm's double rainbow. Tonight, I give them small spoonfuls of hope and sit with them as sleep comes, as their inner gift of the long breath smooths over the sweetness of their faces as dreams come. And since Donna gave us this enormous gift of starting these groups during the pandemic, this next poem is called During the Pandemic, We Learned to Do New Things, Ode to My Husband. During the pandemic, we learned to do new things. I cut his hair first with trepidation. Our two faces in the bathroom mirror. Then I watch as locks of my hair drop into the sink, feel strands slide down my bare back. He who has never cut hair before, who held my hand as I pushed our children into the world with this willingness to take up the scissors. I see his forehead furrow with intent. This man, both husband and stranger, leans in, left hand glazes my left shoulder. Silent breath tickles my neck. Snip, click, more falls. That's good, I say, and close my eyes. In the dark, I feel his breath on my earlobe now, hand on my arm. Turn, he whispers, and I do. Scissors scissoring, our breath quickens as the towel slips. Thank you.
Also one of my favorites of yours. And our next reader is Margot Fuchs Neal.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's an honor to be here, and I share two poems that I wrote recently during the Wednesday class. The first is called The Gift of Emptiness.
Mm.
The gift of emptiness. I wish the world could go on a fast. Each single full belly, each business-minded body, each greedy man, each soldier pleasing we don't know whom and for what. I wish we all could sit in a sweat lodge in silence and clean ourselves from rage, from wanting revenge, or, as most of us, wanting to be right and better. I want the world to be preoccupied with this one and only task of emptying, for the sake of breath, our breath, on the one, the only one, sky.
Thank you. Poems to be heard widely.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
And the second one, it's not a moon poem. It's dedicated to my late husband, Paolo. For Paolo, I still feel your hand in mine, firm yet soft, tangent moonlight. Each full moon rises with your memory, and I miss my man in the moon.
my beautiful, handsome man, forever young in spirit, leading us to far out places, through the moon's veiled hide and seek. My longing softens into rest.
Thank you, Margot.
Thank you.
And next up is Mariah Summers at Mount Shasta.
Hi, thank you, Donna. Behind me is a picture I took of Mount Shasta in the Sandflats Meadow. And the first poem that I'm going to read was a gift of this mountain. This mountain is known for her magic and her medicine and her love and giving each person exactly what they need. And so if it is in alignment with you, I would like for you just to take in this loving medicine that the mountain shared with me. And I'd like to share it with you. This first poem is called Love Poem for the Abandoned Child. And if you would like to just presence any part of yourself that feels abandoned or has felt abandoned or really just needs the love of a maternal presence, I welcome you to presence that now. Love Poem for the Abandoned Child. For too long, child, you have chased the hearts of those who have abandoned their own, surveying pinched faces, parched terrain, for a place to call home, still looking to prove your worth in the conversion of the loveless. Soon you will begin to quietly build yourself a home within yourself, around the hearth that was always there. Love will blossom as you gather years like wildflowers, as you look at a meadow like a mirror, seeing your own wild beauty on the weathered face of a mountain. You will reach back into your history, invoking the love of generations. You will feel in your heart the calm beating of lifetimes of unstruck power and become a thundercloud, releasing the blessed rain. Thank you. And thank you to Ma Shasta for that poem of love and healing. And the second poem is called Sushinshan Atlas, Mount Shasta, California. And if you will remember back in October, we had this comet that was visible only once in 80,000 years. And I was standing right up there, watching it come through. And this was the poem that spilled into me. And if you can just imagine yourself for a moment under the dark night sky and under the peak of this mountain, just in the starlight, and this poem is that medicine, that magic. And I invite you to presence anything that needs healing as already healed in this moment. After a procession of dark decades, you unwound yourself from your wounding, left scabs, scars, bandages bound together someplace like another galaxy. You stand now near the peak under the tipping bowl of a generous mountain full of light. As you gaze sideways into October sky, night searching for a comet that once barreled between abundance and limitation, and now blazes just 22 degrees north of love, visible once in 80,000 years. You gather with strangers and become a tribe, if not a family, who all relate to the Elohim of celestial bodies in their own language. Some speak science, others history, still others call to the better angels of grace. The stars enter your body, still alive, tingling reminders that all science is magic, that you are science, that healing spills from the cauldron of the moonlit mountain, trails like a scar behind the comet, emanates from hearts ablaze with awe.
Thank you, Mariah.
Thank you.
And our next reader is Colette Sell.
Hello there. I echo the gratitude of all the other poets who have spoken. And I also want to express my gratitude for this community of really extraordinary people. My first poem is Disappearing into the Divine. It was written after a visit to the Stanford Pain Clinic. Yesterday, the doctor asks, "How do you do this? Endure 35 years of pain?" His curiosity was real as the chair and the exam room. I wondered why no one had asked before. "I don't spend much time in my body," I said. This young, ambitious fellow at Stanford didn't understand, but took me at my word. He looked with compassion, even awe, and I, unused to that, disappeared again, this time with gladness. Still, I wondered why no one had asked before. He didn't see me leave, although I hoped he'd noticed. I suspect he thought it was a trick I could perform with my eyes open, my gaze unhinged, soul still. Again, I wondered why no one had asked before. I wish I could have shown him how to let love arise like a murmuration of starlings, each carrying some fresh kindness, swarming into the divine. And I, empty at last, riding their backs, could only be remembered by the room and the chair.
Thank you, Colette. That was beautiful.
Thank you. This is quite a different mood. I want to believe. I want to believe in the open hand, in the palm upraised in offering, a greeting of peace, the shared wish for mercy, all in a crust of bread freely given, that I not have more than you, that we not have more than they. I want to believe that it all matters, even though we won't keep count, because there will be enough water, food, shelter, light in our duty of care, one for the other. I want to believe your words, to feel your trust and give you mine, to know that our embrace will be enough. I want to believe that I will rise to whatever occasion steps over the doorsill, wakes me from my lonely sleep, pokes me with its sharp finger and says boldly, "It's your turn."
Thank you, Colette.
Yes.
And our next reader is Claudia Rader.
The first poem I'm reading is about the poem Praise the Mutilated World by Zagayevsky, and it's certainly famous on the internet and everywhere and should be. The title of this poem is Reading, Try to Praise the Mutilated World on the Subway. Across from me sit two young women who lean on each other. One sobs while the other braids her hair. Shh, it will be all right. She hums and braids, all of us rocking on the A train that will bring us to 86th Street and beyond. I open my book of poems to read. Praise the mutilated world. But I misread the word praise as pray. Pray for the mutilated world, I think, as the train weaves in and out of stations. I sway into dark, into light, hopscotching in and out of the poem. My listening clangs with the smack of doors, the squeal of brakes, the metallic clang of keys. Pray for the wind to put this poem to music, the music of coming and going, of light leaving and leaves falling. Make it a fugue, so the braiding, the crying, the poem fold over each other, the way egg whites peak, high, stiff, shiny. Show us how we brave the mad, how deportations can become the wiping of feet on a welcome mat, the crackle of a paper bag filled with sweets. I want the young woman crying to be the curve of a petal of a crimson flower her friend is holding. I hand her a paintbrush to create the blush on her cheeks, the stems of flowers in her arms. Thank you. And the next poem I'll read is quite different, and it came out in class, and I've kept it mostly the way it is. I had moved from the drought of California to Pittsburgh and know I needed to be near water, and I think that's how this poem came out, to be near a creek or pond. How could I stay in a place with no river, no body of water, no night trickling through droplets of rain? It's hard not to listen for gurgles, frog bellows, turtles in the shallows, all drought, sharp stones underfoot. And so I had to move and found a pond filled with towering cattails, redbirds nesting in the reeds. I come here to unsettle what has been scarred and reach again for what scares me. Because in this particular place, the geese honk loudly and scores of demons fly out. I know they will return, but for a while I can sit as quietly as a frog, resting my tail in the water, eyes shining up from the mud. Thank you.
Thank you so much. These are just beautiful. And again, poets who have books, if you want to put in the chat room a link to your books, feel free to do that. And Chitananda, please.
Yeah, thank you. This is it's so inspiring to listen to all the readers and the poets. It's really an honor to be among the crowd and share this time with you. I have two pieces today that pull from ancestor work or ancestor exploration. Who knows where they come from, these poems? This one's called Discovering My Ancestors. My ancestors come to me, and I to them. We weave a reciprocal bridge across the expanse of time. Starbeams lacing ends together as each threads our needle to travel the distance, to find the other across weft and warp, twining colors of our time into the rhythmic wave, unfolding our suspension bond. I have learned you have to ask, and I have never wanted to ask. I thought of ancestors as my grandparents and their kin, all in one way or another, brutalized by horrors of Holocaust, penalties of pogroms, fearful finalities. I wanted to rise above these inflictions, leave plagues behind, surrender suffering. Until one day, one ordinary day, when I discovered my ancestors are so much more, and my family just didn't know how to share. Twisting beams of light, I feel them now, all of them. The ones long forgotten as we tried so hard to never forget. The ones who gave us the strength to survive the suffering, who bore ancient wounds and lived to share light, who tended many hardships, but thrived enough to launch themselves into the future, to wrench the absolute from myriad stories, to reinsert the absolute into our hearts. And this, the second piece is more specific for my pops, and it's called For My Father. I never think to speak to you, except in the weeks after you passed, when I would hear the phone ring and pray it might be you. All my life, you listened long and deep, held space for my youth to ripen, my pain to soften, my heart to open again. And yet I never think to speak to you. Now the days pass, 6,360 days since you have become total again. And since that day, though I never think to speak to you, you have never been far. Your spirit soars through my bones, pulses with each heartbeat, entrains my field to the harmony of our love. You, dearly departed dad, were the best father a daughter could have, and nothing has changed, though I never think to speak to you. Now I simply pause, inhale the song on the wind, and feel you as the love you gave, the love you are, hugging me one more time from the inside on my breath. Thank you. And I do change the number every time I read that, the count of the days.
Beautiful. And Deborah Leipziger next, please.
Thank you. I feel like these poems are making me feel more brave. River Keeper. My religion is the following of rivers, the polishing of rocks, certainty of sky and pollen, irises purple in the wind, hive and honey. I ask the river to take me, voyage me, past cities and ancestors. My religion embraces the river of you, the lake of us, meadows of lupine, monarch and milkweed. Meet me by the river of us. And because I love autumn and I love apple picking, I'm going to read Apple Orchard from my collection Story and Bone. Apple Orchard. We ladder up into the crown, beholden to rain and light for apples, their purple dust, splattering of stars. This longing to cradle my twin daughters, as when they scampered limbs and branches. Heart to heart, the Cortlands grow as doubles. The sign says, use both hands to pick both apples at the same time. The apples in my open palms, this tugging of heart, this twisting apart.
Thank you, Deborah. And I think we are up to our last poet, unless I've missed anyone. So Lynn Palumbo, please.
I bow to all of you, especially to Donna, without whom none of this would be happening. So what a joy it is to be with you. I moved to tears and laughter and deep emotion listening to all of you and just awe. So this is called Chicken Soup. I wrote it the other morning after making a pot of chicken soup. You need bones to make soup, said the Jamaican woman with her luscious voice and dark, shining eyes, her skin the color of molasses. And so I listened, rinsed the chicken, turning its once living body in my hands, I saw it eat, pecking feed, and it became a she, her ruffled red bonnet bobbing in the sun. I saw her riding on a flat bed in a cage stacked with others, headed for slaughter with her mother, sisters, and daughters. And I prayed to her generosity, to her sacrifice to feed me, for her brief life and my need. I removed her skin, white and fatty, placed her in a pot to simmer long, to soften her bones, give up her broth. Hours passed, music played. Aromas rose, perhaps her soul. I peeled carrots, chopped an onion, and stalks of celery, pressed cloves of sticky garlic, rinsed the dill. Saw each ingredient in a garden, then the crispers at the market. Such a feast of texture and color. I thanked the sun, the rain, the soil, and the gardeners when all I'd set out to do was to compose a simple pot of soup. This all happened silently, the act of cooking now sacramental, as the meditative motion of my hands focused on a simple intention. And oh, when I spooned to my lips the very first sip, how nourished I felt and fortified, how thankful to be alive, and by tender things satisfied.
Oh, beautiful, Lynn. Just beautiful.
And then this one I wrote in during when I popped in and out of the last retreat on Zoom, unable to attend in person. This one I wrote, it's called Choosing. Instead of the love lost, remember the love shared while it lasted. Instead of the days gone by, open to this moment right here in your hand. It's not to be clutched tightly, but cupped gently in the globe of your two palms, like a lightning bug in June, the one you caught because you could, and then another and another. Time puts each moment in a mason jar with holes poked in the lid, joined with twigs and bits of leaves and grass, and the things you chose to love, to delight you as you bathe in the waters of life, so often calm as a tub. The bathroom dark, only the blinking orange-winged bugs with their green lanterns to gaze upon. Remember, you were a child once, innocent of sorrow, a child you still carry within, luminous as those bugs. And still you are a child of nature, daughter of New Jersey, its marshes, little rivers, wide bays, and endless ocean, your earthly home. No, no matter what grief you must feel, as the price of being fully human, as the price paid by love, that the only guarantee you have is just this now, just this stepping stone across the moonlit pond. Maybe you'll reach tomorrow. Maybe you won't in this, your fragile form. But there is something transcendent waxing that you are part of. I don't know why, I'm just very overcome by emotion today. Everything touched me so deeply. Thank you all.
Oh, that thanks. And it's been really beautiful. It's been so pleasurable to hear you all read. And I just want to presence one of our other poets who couldn't read today. Janet Harrison is always mentioning how joy is a form of resistance. And I think doing something like this and experiencing the pleasure of hearing these wonderful poems is a form of resistance. And so I honor Janet's presence even. And I also am wondering where Tammy is. Yes. So I'll have to find out and email her after we finish, but she usually Zooms from Jerusalem. And as I said, I think she's in New Jersey now. So anyway, yes.
Yeah, Tammy, she wrote maybe she could attempt, maybe not. She
Okay.
waits that she can fly back, with her broken knee. Yeah, she's in pain.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so just let me repeat the quote from Robert Frost, which I said earlier. Poetry is nearer to vital truth than history. And for some reason, that's really appealing to me right now. In these challenging times, as I said, poetry is vital and honoring our hearts. So I really thank you all for being here. These are like, it's like this gem of hope and love.
Insanity.
Insanity. Yeah, we're all for sanity, whatever form it takes, right? So thank you all so much for being here.
Thank you all.
All
Thank you,
right.
Donna.
Thank you all.
Wonderful seeing you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Donna, are all the books going to be on there still in the chat? People's books are in it?
I think I can get the chat and copy it and send it.
Okay.
Or if not, we'll make up a separate list.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. And thank you to everybody. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you to everybody.
Everybody.
I want
Beautiful.
Happy
Thank you.
Sunday.
Whoops.
Keep writing.
Thank you. I want to share that the people from Costa Rica are really in solidarity with you and understanding the trauma and all, and they really send you peace and grace and all they can of their support.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Melissa. All right, everyone, stay well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Gratitude to the poets.
Bye, everybody.